Drivers behind the line. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the lower bracket. Both of these teams trying to fight to play another match. One of these teams will be eliminated. First 20 seconds completely autonomous and pre-programmed just like usual. 4 of those 6 robots making their way into the treacherous neutral zone, picking up fuel. 3 of them returning for some more. 1646 working with their alliance partner 7617 for quite a beautiful autonomous period. Blue Alliance, though, still able to score a healthy 27 points during the first 20 seconds. 10 seconds now is the transition period. Both those hubs temporarily active. You can see the Red Alliance one, it was flashing red and white, which means they've lost that opportunity for scoring, but we'll get it back in 25 seconds time now that the Blue Alliance hub is the only active. 5402 Reckless Robotics was beached on field, but got a little bit of a lob tap from their opponents, getting them back into the field of play. Charger Robotics is probably the youngest team in this match. That's 10-3-3-2. I believe it's only their second season, but they're proudly representing the 5th Alliance in this match. Both of these teams trying to get as many points as possible. 76-17, a little bit of bumper pressure against their opponents. The Red Alliance now applying a good amount of fuel. Only 6 points distinguish these two teams, but the Red Alliance is getting the next dedicated 12 seconds here to score points for their alliance. 15-55, trying to pick up some of that fuel, but receiving some of that bumper pressure from Charger Robotics. The Blue Alliance hub just now becoming inactive. 84-50 at the end of equal point possibility opportunity. Blue Alliance, though, getting their second opportunity at an active hub and putting up quite a good volume of fuel, making this a very tough match for the Red Alliance. Only 2 points now distinguish these two teams, which is definitely possible with the remaining 8 seconds in their active hub period. 8:29, the Digital Ghosts trying to pick up some of that fuel from in front of their human player station. Any fuel passed to their human player through the outpost can be used at any point later in the match. Red Alliance was behind, but quickly overcoming the point pressure that the Blue Alliance put up. Scores 108-111. 3 points distinguish these two teams, but the Red Alliance has plenty of time remaining with their active hub to score points for their alliance. Many of those points being put up by one of our lovely Ho teams, 1646 Precision Guessworks. Continuing now to push some of that game pieces into their outpost, the human player station. End game period, we heard that steam whistle teams continuing to point those point pressures against each other. Both those hubs now active for the remainder of the match. Many teams disregarding the climb completely in this year's game, trying to score as many points as possible. Only 12 points, 10 points, 12 points. Now only 7 points distinguish these two teams. And it could be the difference within these final seconds. And that's all the time we had for playoffs match 5. We'll have to see how these total up. Red Alliance ultimately taking home with 1 point difference. Your Red 8th Alliance will remain in the lower bracket. We'll see them again in match 10. Unfortunately, this was the end of the road for Alliance 5. Just 1 fuel short there. So let's give a huge round of applause for all of our teams completing like crazy. That's 8:29.